can't believe it's been 15 years. 15 years ago, Progress Texas was an idea. It was me, an unbuilt IKEA desk, no members, no boards, nothing. My name is Matt Glazer. I'm the inaugural executive director of Progress Texas. And I think back at all of the impact and all of the stories that we can share about Progress Texas, all of the work, all of the folks that have come through our doors, and all of the members who have had their voices heard. There's a lot of fights on the horizon, and some of them will be incredibly public, and some of them will be small victories along the way. But what I do know for sure, and I fully believe, is that a progressive Texas is possible. That if we work together and we find each other and we talk to each other and we share those values, Texans by nature want to see a positive, lasting change in the futures for themselves, for their loved ones, for their kids, their grandkids. They want to build something that has a lasting impact. We couldn't make that change without Progress Texas and the organizations and the members that make that possible. And because of Progress Texas and the staff and the team and the members, we're going to get the Texas we deserve. It's going to be a lot of work, but I'm confident that we can do it. So here's to 15 years, and here's to 150 more. Let's do this, y'all.
Matt Glazer of Austin, founder of Progress Texas. Matt, thanks so much for that message as we gear up to celebrate our 15th anniversary on Monday in Dallas. It's Friday, June 6, 2025, and this is the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch, rapid response on the breaking news stories Texas progressives need to know. I'm Chris Mosier. It would be highly inappropriate to start this morning with anything but the very public breakup between Texas transplant Elon Musk and President Donald Trump, and by extension, we presume, Musk's breakup with MAGA Nation as a whole. Plenty of coverage out there this morning, some outlets providing ongoing live updated coverage, including the Wall Street Journal, who breathlessly report that Trump and Musk spent much of Thursday trading barbs and insults, rupturing a relationship that has become emblematic of the toxic ties that have developed between American politics and big money. This started with Musk's aggressive criticism of Trump's big, beautiful bullshit bill, which not only was a direct counter to Musk's Doge cost-cutting efforts and its gigantic multi-trillion-dollar price tag, but also apparently contains policy that will damage Tesla's market position via a rollback of electric vehicle tax credits, to which Trump added threats to eliminate other subsidies and contracts related to Musk's businesses. Musk, who spent hundreds of millions of dollars to help get Trump elected, piped up that he found the president ungrateful and asserted that Trump wouldn't be sitting in the Oval Office without him. Musk has now also floated the idea of starting a third political party, presumably the tech bro douchebag party, and then expressed agreement with a tweet that Trump should be impeached for a third time. Musk has also threatened to decommission SpaceX's Dragon vehicle, which NASA has come to depend on for runs to the International Space Station. He later walked that one back, but again, in this spat, we see the hazards that we face when we allow our country to essentially be run by a pair of extremely rich 11-year-olds. You ask me, the biggest bombshell here is Musk bringing up the Jeffrey Epstein files, which Musk has now stated publicly contain one Donald J. Trump as a primary character, and that his participation in Epstein's exploits are the reason those files remain undisclosed to the public today. If it's not true, Elon Musk has just committed the most egregious example in world history of defamation and or libel against a sitting U.S. president. You ask me, now's the time for Donald Trump to clear his name and release those files. Tesla shares fell 14% yesterday, shedding about $152 billion in market value, the stock's biggest single-day slide on record. What a shit show, and we are totally here for it. The upcoming November 2025 election features the pick of a new U.S. representative for Houston's 18th congressional district, and a major player has entered that race. State Representative Jolanda Jones has announced a run to replace the late Sylvester Turner. She says she made the decision long ago, but committed to completing the Texas legislative session without distraction, which she did. Kayla Guo at the Texas Tribune says Rep. Jones is not only an attorney, former Houston ISD trustee, and former Houston City Council member, but is also a four-time national track and field champion. man, a one-time contestant on CBS's Survivor show, and an outspoken LGBTQ plus advocate. The Houston congressional race was already the marquee event of this fall's election here in Texas. It's just 5 months out and is even more so now. Rep. Jolanda Jones competes with a growing slate of candidates, including Harris County Attorney Christian Menifee, fellow former Houston City Council member Amanda Edwards, and Democratic advisor Isaiah Martin. A couple of immigration notes this morning, starting with one that really shows the real nature of the conservative zeal against brown folks from down south. They want them all out as long as it doesn't hurt business. Lomi Creel with the Texas Tribune and ProPublica writes that even with billions spent on a massive game of Army Man that stretches the entire length of the Texas borderlands and has extended itself across the country in militarized police raids that are beginning to draw the ire of regular folks who don't want heavily armed troops cruising their neighborhoods, here in Texas, we won't take the simple step of requiring businesses to verify the citizenship of the workers they hire, which, of course, for the vast majority of migrants, is the very reason they're risking life and limb to come here in the first place. In this case, the sane Republican is State Senator Lois Kolkhorst of Brenham, who proposed legislation during the session, and by no means for the first time, mind you, that would have Texas join several other Republican-led states that mandate the use of the E-Verify program for all private companies and others over a certain size. Her GOP colleagues harumphed agreement, and it sailed through the Senate, but then it died. Why? Because as much as they hate immigrants, Texas Republicans realize that our economy is dependent on them. So our companies continue hiring them, and they continue coming. That expensive game of Army Man is apparently enough to keep the MAGA base worked up, so it all works out for the Texas GOP. Quite a read on this, linked in the show notes. Also in immigration, and yet another from the Trib and writer Uriel Garcia, the first formal trial of an immigrant accused of trespassing on the Trump-declared Texas border military zone has ended in her acquittal on that charge. Adelie Valesa de la Cruz Alvarez was arrested near Tornillo, Texas, after being found alone by the border wall. She faced 3 misdemeanor charges: illegal entry, violating national defense property, and trespassing on a military base. She was found guilty only of illegal entry and sentenced to time served plus 1 day. Though acquitted of trespassing, she is still likely to be deported, which was more or less assured from the moment she was arrested, but her case represents a failure for the Trump regime's attempts to escalate legal consequences for migrants. We're continuing to follow the Tarrant County redistricting shenanigans, and we have a write-up on that from Progress Texas Advocacy and Development Coordinator Tatum Owens and myself to get you up to speed at ProgressTexas.org. It includes the maps themselves, which are a sight to see. At present, at least one federal lawsuit has been filed against this new map, which by simple math is an obvious attempt to pack the non-white residents of Tarrant County into a single mega gerrymandered district. The legal question becomes, is this about race, which is not okay, or is this about political affiliation and voting tendencies, which courts have supported? The fact is, those two metrics are deeply intertwined. So these legal challenges are anything but a slam dunk. We go deep on Fort Worth local politics on this week's edition of our In Progress podcast, which will hit this feed later today. DFW and North Texas friends, we look forward to seeing you on Monday as we celebrate our 15th anniversary, as we mentioned, in Dallas. Links to become a supporter and secure your tickets are up now at ProgressTexas.org. Once again, a shout out to our generous event sponsors: Howard Cleon, Charles Zeller, Pamela Pearson, Alex Andrade, Scott Elphinstone, the law offices of Domingo A. Garcia PC, Carol Taylor, Chuck Cruz, Amy Forehand, Eric Johnson, Dr. Mark Parker, John Mazzaro, Seeker Strategies, the Honorable Gene Wu, John Cotter, the Dallas County Democratic Party, Sharon Hirsch, Heather Neville, and many, many more. We appreciate all the support and look forward to seeing you guys on Monday in Dallas for 15 years of progress. Tickets now at ProgressTexas.org. Our mission at Progress Texas is to counter the conservative disinformation machine, but they far outmatch us in funding. Oil and tech billionaires and religious right-wing activist groups spend a lot of money keeping their audiences in the dark. If you've come to appreciate the light that we shine on important political news in Texas on a daily, ongoing basis, please know that our regular everyday listeners form a key component of our funding, and if that's you, we could use your support as a monthly contributor, and no amount is too small. Go to ProgressTexas.org/donate. Thanks to Jeffrey Learman, Sandra Seifert, and Robert Whitehead, all of whom are on the team. We appreciate all y'all very much. That's the Progress Texas Daily Dispatch for this Friday, June 6, 2025. Links to all these original stories can be found in our show notes. Progress Texas is a nonprofit, rapid response media organization promoting progressive messages and actions. While campaigns come and go, we're the permanent home for progressive media and action in the Lone Star State. I'm Chris Mosier. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday.